rest of this PDF correction with you now. So this is question 5. First part, it asks to find the value of 3x plus 2 when x is equal to 5. So as I said, x is equal to 5, and we're substituting that in wherever we see x. So I've got 3 by 5 plus 2 because x has been replaced by the number 5. So we can see that 3 by 5 will give us 15 plus 2 is equal to 17. Nice and straightforward, I like to think. Next part then, to simplify. So we've got x's and y's in this. So I've got x's there and there, and I've got y's there and there. So if it makes it easier for you, first thing you can do is rearrange them to put everything together that's similar. So I can change that around to 7x plus x plus 2y plus 3y. Now there's no equals or anything in this, so I can move stuff around as much as I want and no signs change. All I've got to do then is put together the terms that I like. So I've got 7x and x gives me 8x, and I've got 2y plus 3y gives me 5y. And that's all there is to it. I can't mix x's and y's because they're different terms. I can't mix these numbers because they're attached to the letters. So that is my answer done. Okay, you can see it says simplify compared to the next one where it says solve. I'm not looking for the value of x or the value of y. I'm just writing it in its simplest form. In its simplest form. That's all. Alright? And that's all there is to it. Last part of this problem then. Solve the equation. 3x minus 1 is equal to 11. So again, I want to have x equals a number at the end. So I'm going to keep x's on the left, and I'm going to bring all my numbers to the right hand side. So 11's over there already. I bring that minus 1 over, it's going to become plus 1. So I then have 3x is equal to 12 because 11 plus 1 gives me 12. So I've got to figure out what that is then. So I've got 3x. The 3 is multiplying by x. When I bring it over here, it's going to become a divide. So that becomes it becomes x is equal to 12. If you can write it, x is equal to 12 over 3. And 12 over 3 is 4. So that tells me that x is equal to 4. Nice and simple. Question 6. Same process. All the same stuff that's being asked again and again. Evaluate, solve, simplify. So I've got x is equal to 3. So I'm going to substitute in 3 there. And I've got y is equal to 5. So I'm substituting in 5 there. So I've got 4 by 3 plus 6 by 5. 4 by 3 gives me 12, 6 by 5 gives me 30, and 12 plus 30 gives me 42. Done and dusted. Next bit, solve. 3x plus 2 equals 17. So, again, I want to end up with x equals a number. So, I'm going to keep my 3x on the left-hand side, and I'm going to bring the 2 over. It was a plus 2 over here, so when I bring it over, it becomes a minus 2. So, I end up with 3x is equal to 15. So to finish that one off, I have to keep the x on its own. The 3 over here is going to come over and it's going to become a divide. 15 divided by 3, which is 5, telling me that x is equal to 5. And usually I'd write my answer again at the bottom here on its own, just to make sure you're clear on what you know the answer to be. Last one, question 7 here. And this one's a little bit different to a lot of the rest, but a lovely one because it's very similar to some of the last questions that we did in this topic from the textbook. So you can see it says John is 3 times as old as Mary. Okay? Mary's age is represented by x. Mary's age is represented by x. Select one expression from A, B, C, D, and E below which represents John's age. So I want to figure out which of these 5 things would tell me what John's age is. Now it's telling me that Mary's age is x. Okay, so if John is 3 times as old as Mary, then we can say that John's age would be 3 times that. 3 times more than what Mary's is. So it would be 3x, okay? So it would be 3x, and the expression is b, okay? So I think you'd be expected to write down the letter b, not to write down 3x, but I'm just writing them beside each other so you know. The next one, select one expression which represents John's age in 3 years' time. Now, look, we've used b already, so b can't be used again, really. So let's cross that off the list. Okay, so I'm not talking about b anymore. So I can think A, C, D, and E. So remember, John's age is now 3x. I can say John's age is 3x. It says select one expression for part 2 here. Select one expression which represents John's age in 3 years' time. So I want to know what John's age would be, 3x, in 3 years' time. How do I figure that out? I'm going to add 3 to that. So that's my expression. So which letter do I see that expression under? It's C. So the expression is C, okay? So now, again, I've used that one already, so I don't need to use that one again. So I now have B and C have been used. Last one on these. Select one expression from A or D or E now, because I've used B and C, I can't use them again, which represents Mary's age in 3 years' time. Now remember, Mary's age in years is represented by X. We said that at the very start of the question. So in 3 years' time, she's going to be X plus 3. So I should be able to see that, and it's expression A. So that's expression A. Lovely. Okay, so that's them done. Now we're going to use all of that info. I've used A, I've used B, I've used C. I'm going to use that info to solve the rest of this, or to answer the rest of this question. It says in 3 years' time, John's age added to Mary's age will give a total of 26 years. Write down an equation in X to represent this statement. Now this is not the easiest thing in the world. This is the important bit here. In 3 years' time, okay? Because it's talked about Mary's age in 3 years' time. It's talked about John's age in 3 years' time. So I'm thinking I need to use the expressions that we talked about in parts 2 and parts 3 here, okay? So I want to use that 3x plus 3, and I want to use that x plus 3. It's telling me in 3 years' time, John's age added to Mary's age will give us 26, okay? So I want to use this one, which represents John's age in 3 years' time. I want to use this one, which represents Mary's age in 3 years' time. If I put those together, if I add them, then they will give me a total of 26. So what I'm saying is I want to use John's age in 3 years' time plus Mary's age in 3 years' time is going to be equal to 26. And then using that, we should be able to figure out or we should be able to solve for X. And that's what part 5 asks us to do, okay? It says solve your equation to find Mary's present age. So I've got 3x plus 3 plus x plus 3 is equal to 26. Now you can see that I can tidy that up quite easily. I put my x's with my x's, I put my numbers with my numbers, okay? So I've got 3x plus x gives me 4x, and I've got 3 plus 3 gives me 6. So 4x plus 6 is equal to 26. And then I'm just going to solve that for x nice and simply. Alright, I'm running out of a bit of space here, but that's no big deal. I'll continue this on up here, okay, just to make sure that we're clear. So I've got 4x plus 6 is equal to 26. I'm going to bring the 6 over to the numbers. So then I'm going to have my x's on the left. 4x is equal to 26 minus 6. Remember that the plus 6 is being brought over, so it becomes a minus. So I end up with 4x is equal to 20, because 26 minus 6 gives me 20. And then I can say x is equal to 20 over 4, which is 5. Now, x represents Mary's age. If you recall, Mary's age in years is represented by x. That's what it tells me at the very start of the question. I've now solved what x is, and it's telling me that Mary's age is 5. So that's it done. I would strongly suggest, if you're having trouble with these guys, you need to look back over these videos, you need to pause them, you need to read them, you need to check them against what you've done in your own work. We're finished with this topic now, so once you're done with that, we're moving on, okay? So please make sure that you do that. Thank you very much.